All right, welcome to game night tonight for another unboxing of Smash Up, another expansion called World Tour Culture Shock. We picked this one up specifically because it's super colorful and it looked a lot of fun. So here we have it. We're going to be getting into this just to see what those different factions are, the different things that you can smash up with all the other base factions that you have from the base game or any other expansions that you may have. So if you're not familiar with the Smash Up game, you are in a world where you're smashing up two different factions to try and take over different bases to get the victory points that you need to win and overcome the other players that you are up against. So first and foremost, we have our Smash Up expansion rules. It tells you all the different clarifications on cards, on bases, all the things you need to know to play with this specific expansion. You could technically play this as a standalone because it does come with, it looks like it does come with the different bases. So you could play this by itself, but way fun to smash this up with another one of your expansions or whatnot. So on top here, we have different tokens. These different tokens, I'm not quite sure what they do, but they come with this particular expansion to help you along the way. So in this right here, first and foremost, if you have the bigger, geekier box, or if you're just collecting a ton of expansions, more to add to your game, then you have the different dividers for the different factions, so you can better organize them in your bigger, geekier box or wherever you are storing this game. That way you can easily find the different factions. It looks like we have Anansi Tales, we've got Grimm's Fairy Tales, you got Ancient Incas, you got the Russian Fairy Tales, and the Polynesian Voyager. So these are a hard plastic card that helps to divide and keep your cards and factions organized. So it comes with those 5 right there, and then let's hop right into the different factions that it has. So first we've got here, it looks like the German Fairy Tales. The German fairy tale guys, and at the bottom right of every single card there's always a picture that yeah, it's Grimm's Fairy Tales, that's what it is. So it'll dictate which faction you have, it'll match up with that. So we have that, we have Hansel as a minion, we've got Gretel, and the other Snow White. If the first one wasn't enough, we've got Rose Red, Red Riding Hood, Rumpelstiltskin. The artwork on these is really fun. It's always fun on different factions, but the Frog Prince, Charming Prince, Prince Charming, he looks so pretty, the Big Bad Wolf, and onto our actions, we have Fairy Godmother's Blessing, the Woodsman's Axe. Oop. We have another story. Breadcrumbs. Oop. Action mouse, bird, and sausage. Interesting. Basket of goodies. I'm sure that was Red Riding. Red Riding Hood, bringing the basket of goodies. We've got Grimm's Blessing. The Brothers Grimm. Ooh, we got a couple of those. And Teamwork with Hansel and Gretel, as they've burnt down the candy house of the witch, it looks like. So there's that faction, the very first faction. Great artwork, looks like a lot of fun, different characters, different minions, different actions that will help you capture those bases, as I've said before. All right, the next one, it looks like we have the Anansi Tales. We have Maboro Hornet. We've got a few of those. You've got the Aki the turtle. Oh, Akie? Not sure. But you got a few of him. You got Onini the python. Osebo the leopard. Anasazi the spider. I didn't even realize he was a spider. And then Pot of Wisdom is our first action. Ear of Corn. Collecting stories. Ooh, got a couple of those. Pot of beans. The perfect gift. Let it be full and eat. Feather gifts. And trading stories. So there you have it, all the different actions and minions for that particular faction. Moving on to the next faction here, it looks like our llamas, but more specifically, I'm not entirely sure, the Incas? I want to say the Incas. Yep, so you got the mask there to signify which faction they belong to. We've got llamas, ton of llamas. You got the Inca engineer, a few of those guys. Child of the Sun, a couple of them, and Sapa Inca. It's always the most expensive. Signs in the Stars. It's your first action. The Temple of the Sun. The Fortress Walls. A couple of those. The Armory. Looks like a lot of these actions are ongoings. Royal Highway. The Golden Condor. The Ashlar Masonry. And last but not least, the Kipu Strings. Perfect. So that's the Incan faction there. A lot of different artwork, which is really fun. If you're familiar with the Incan culture, based out of Peru and everything, with the, I mean, you got Machu Picchu out there and everything. So they have a lot of cool artwork in there that is particular to that culture, which is pretty fun. And then all the artwork throughout this entire game is always really fun. So we've got here the Polynesian Wanderer, or like Voyager, whatever it was called. You got Moai. Got a few of those minions. You got Tiki. A few of them. You got the Wayfinder, not to be mistaken with Moana. And then, of course, you have Maui. He's got Maui's hook there. Moving on to our actions, we have the Ocean Tattoo. You got the Sun Tattoo. A couple of those. You got the Shark Tattoo. A couple of those. Volcanic Uprising. Unity of the Tribes. The Tattoo Artist. I'm sure that's actually how they feel every time it happens. Growth of the Tribes. Knowledge of the Tribes. And in this pack, it has all the different locations, the bases that you're able to play with here. So I'm going to go ahead and show those really quick. We got the Transformation Spring. The Giant Turnip. Gingerbread House. Woodland Cottage. Anasazi's Web. Oh, it's not Anasazi's, it's Anansi's Web. Man, I've been saying that wrong the whole time. Anansi's Web. Storyteller's Hut. Machu Picchu, of course. And Cusco. A tropical paradise. Island Peak. And the Island Chain. So you have all those different bases that you're able to play with, making it a little bit more fun. It changes things up, changes the game up, because each one has a different requirement to overtake that base and gain the victory points you need to win. And our final faction that we have here, we've got, it's the bull, so it was like the I don't remember which faction it is, but the Bull faction. Okay, so we have the Birch as a minion. We've got the Tsar Eagle. I'll go ahead and put these on here. A couple of those. The Grey Wolf. The Foolish Magician. Always a couple of those out there. The Toad. Man, he's free. It's awesome. The Birch Woman. Finest the Falcon. Finest the Falcon. Interesting. And then Baba Yaga. And then as far as the actions go, we have the Frog Prince, looking very stately with his headdress there. The Water of Life. Got a couple of those. Transformation. Bewitched. And then Go See My Sister. Do I know not whither? Or go I know not whither. Interesting. And fetch I know not what. Looks like the Huntsman. Mass Transformation. And there you have it. You have all these different factions. You got 5 different factions, a whole new set of bases to use and utilize that are included in this particular expansion. Looks like a lot of fun. The artwork is a lot of fun. A lot of the cards look good. You got all the bases here. Then of course you've got your dividers that we have. I'm going to toss those right here. You got the dividers. These new coins, which I'm not entirely sure what they do, but I'm sure as you read the instructions here, it'll explain exactly what it is that you need to do. But again, it looks like you could probably do this as a standalone game. Ages 14 and up for 2 to 4 players, but makes it a little bit more fun. This has the 5 different factions. It makes it a little bit more, and that's probably why it's an expansion, is you need more factions to be able to play with more players, because you need 2 factions per player, and that wraps it up for these 5 factions right here that you get for the World Tour Culture Shock, the Smash Up expansion. So I'm excited to play this, mash it up with all the other Smash Up expansions that I have, as well as the base game, make it a whole new game every single time you play, because as you mix up the different factions, it gives different powers, different challenges, different abilities to be able to take over those different bases that you need to ultimately get the victory points and win the game. So there you have it for this unboxing of Smash Up's expansion, World Tour Culture Shock. Join us again next time for other unboxings or other game playthroughs or what have you, but we will see you again on Game Night Tonight.